All aboard!
This is Pelon and Chubby, episode 82. Back at it again with that good stuff. This week, Pelon and Chubby, they still talk about their preparation for the game show, America Says. Are they ready for the next round? Chubby, preparing for another big show with the San Diego Comedy League, and getting his things right for his own shows, feeling the pressure of being a promoter, producer, and host. Will he survive? This is Pelon and Chubby, episode 82. Doing what we do. Check us out.
Activate.
It's the Pelon and Chubby Show with your hosts Rick Salas and Guy Murray, talking about comedy and everything that crosses their mind. It's the Pelon and Chubby Show.
And we're live.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Pelon and Chubby Show. I'm Rick Salas.
And I'm Guy Murray.
And together we are Pelon and Chubby here every Wednesday night, 8:30. I'm not going to lie.
Yes.
8 o'clock, fuck it. 8:30.
Oh, my.
We are here every Wednesday. We are happy that you're here. We're happy to be here. And everybody's happy. I took the happy pill today. Mom will thank me for that later.
Wow.
So it's been a wonderful week. Happy to be alive. Yes. Wow. I can't believe I'm saying all this. So, it's good. Good things. Like I was telling you, we're going to talk about a few things that are going on, good things. We're also going to talk about, got a little feedback on the show, which was kind of nice. You don't get that much feedback from the show. That we do have more and more listeners, more and more followers. Obviously, we need more in order to sell the show. But getting some good feedback is always inspiring. It always keeps us going. It feels like we're actually getting somewhere, you know. So
our wheels.
Yeah, that's great. We also got the show coming up that we haven't practiced for at all.
What show?
The America Says.
Oh,
yeah.
I practiced.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you do the test? I'll tell you what, man. If it's the same as it was for the audition, and those are the actual answers. Oh my god. Yeah. I was sitting there and I'm trying to tell you guys, and I know they know. I don't know why I was trying to be all secretive, but I'm like, oh my god, those are the answers for the quiz. And it was. It would have made us look so much better. But we got on the show anyway, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super pumped, and now that I've practiced, as long as I don't freeze up, it's the cameras and the extra. Come on,
you just have to remember don't say skip, just keep going. Make an answer, no matter what the answer is, with the first letter of something. And
so, just for our audience, they don't know what exactly we're talking about. We can't really give them a preview because. Well,
no, they just need to go if you're really interested on what show we're going to be on. Just go on to, I mean, it's not that big a deal, but, it's kind of cool. Go on to the Game Show Network and then click on America Says.
Yes.
And that's the show we're going to be on. We're going to be taping the end of June, it sounds like. We haven't got the date yet, but we made it all the way to the end.
Interview rounds and actually going in the studio.
Yeah,
so it's going to be great.
Yeah, and they kind of burst our bubble just a little bit going in there, having the meeting.
Tap a baby on the behind.
With the producer, he's like, there's 5 of you, only 4 are going to make it. We'll decide what 4 it is. And then we're going to invite more teams than we need. So you might not even make it on the show at all.
See how you look.
Nothing like giving you a little false hope.
Yeah, that's always.
So we could drive all the way to Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then not even be on. But how can they turn us down? I'll tell you what, man.
We got.
I'm gonna tell you.
You got the chutzpah.
You were like, you were really like. I'm excited to be on the show because you were really into it. That's what you said to me, right? And little did he know that's my acting ability. I could give a fuck about the show.
He is an amazing piece. His eyes were all lit up. He looked like, I'm so good to be here.
Oh my God! Wait till you see the actual show.
Y'all can't.
I am gonna be animated, almost to the point of being. Now I'm not gonna go total homo, but it's definitely gonna be like, you know, that the male cheerleader that you're like, oh my God, he's got tons of energy.
I wonder if he's gay.
You're not for sure, but you're like, yeah, I wonder. So that's the kind of energy I'm gonna bring to the show. Not, of course, you got to remember, don't overshadow the host.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not about you.
Okay, it's not about you.
No, you're on the show, but it's about the host of the show. So John Michael Higgins.
Yes. Is
they want to know if any of us ever worked with him.
Nope.
No, I've seen him on TV a couple times. You know.
If he said it was Neil Brennan, then maybe I would have to say
the guy's kind of funny, you know.
Yeah, he is funny. But if he would have said if it was Neil Brennan or
he's got that kind of dry humor.
Yeah. I mean, I think I could do the hosting thing for a game show.
So since we're talking about it, I don't have a problem with doing the. Steve Harvey actually does a halfway decent job.
Wayne Brady does an excellent job.
Oh, Wayne Brady's awesome.
Wayne Brady's great.
Yeah.
And it's when he's coupled with his little buddy, he's really good.
They get a little corny together.
But they went to school together. They went to
whatever. So they blow each other. Whatever. I don't care.
It's good.
Yeah, just as long as it makes good TV, I don't care what your story is.
And it's just, I think it's the farm system for these contestants to get to the show. It's just like a whole process.
Right.
And the milling for them to mesh, and so they start producing a good show.
Right. So I think they're gonna, if we do decent, we could get called for another show. Maybe not as a team, but individually.
Individually, there you go. Have a game show face, game show persona.
You got the voice, whatever.
Yes. Like that's a little bit of our little claim to fame each week. Women get moist and guys get jealous because of Rick.
Oh my.
And obviously me, but
so I was talking about the feedback on the show.
Yeah,
and a while back, I remember I told you my cousin was like, "Man, you guys are like very consistent. You're on there every Wednesday.
Yeah.
You've been going. I mean, we've taken a day or two here, but
that's your fault, man.
Well,
I'm always.
And usually I'm the one that's like super stable.
One time, what?
Right. So anyway,
had to be a fire.
I was at work.
Okay.
And a couple of people have asked, hey, I heard you do a podcast. I was like, here's the thing, tune in one day and watch. So one of the guys, and he's not a kiss ass kind of guy. That guy that's a kiss ass guy. No matter, no matter how the show was, it'd be like, oh my God, you were so cool and fucking whatever. I want to be your friend. Take me to lunch and shit. So he comes up. Yeah, he comes up and he's like, out of the blue. I didn't even ask for a response. I didn't even know he watched. And he said, dude, that show was amazing. I didn't think it was going to be that good. You know what I mean? Which is, that's a normal reaction.
That's
if you were to meet me outside of here or whatever, you would never even know that.
No.
Like there's nothing that would tip you off like, oh, I bet you're super funny. No. And so then he continued to say, hey, man, you have a voice for it and you are very good. I was like, man, I appreciate that, And so he came up and he said he really liked the show and that we're really talented and all that, which I appreciate. And then another guy that sits next to me was listening to the show, and I catch him listening every once in a while on his headset while we were working, and he's laughing, and I'm like, what are you watching? He's like, your show. And I'm like, oh, cool, And so he tells me, he's like, I don't know if you know this, but you are like meant to do this.
Wow.
And I was like, really? And he says, and you know me, I kind of just take everything like people are just being nice, the special kid or whatever, But he's like, no, you got a voice like people would pay to listen to.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, that's kind of what we're hoping for.
How deep of pockets are you talking about?
That's the whole idea of this, why we've been doing this for every Wednesday in hopes that one day, obviously it's to entertain ourselves, entertain you guys, but at the same time, we're hoping that one day somebody sees the show and is like, you know what?
I hear this.
Do you want to take this show or do you want to come on a real show? And
we pin you down and we hold you. What was it? Our hot seat. Our hot seat. We were in the middle of a.
Yeah, we're gonna get back to that.
And that was just people walking up. It's like, hey, you like taking it in the,
We're gonna increase the gas.
Yes.
It would be nice to at least pay people gas money for showing up.
Yes.
We already have the keg flowing.
Keg
we have food if they're hungry.
We can do that. Always
it's comfortable here. There's not really any distractions.
Been too hot, never been too cold.
We have an air conditioner in case it gets hot. So
keep you warm.
It would be really nice.
And we have a casting couch, so this is a real studio. Real things are happening here, and how long have we been in the studio? A year?
I don't know. I think and we're gonna dress it up a little bit. We're gonna get a new camera, new lights, new banners. So things are happening, right?
Growth, baby, growth.
Slowly but surely. They say that the 3 years, 4 years is what it takes for it to pop. Fuck, they're not lying.
It's for real. It's definitely.
We're going to come up on 2. When's our 2 year? November, December?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, it's 2 years.
Yeah, it'll be 2 years of doing this. It feels like longer. It's like that relationship. You're like, fuck, hasn't it been about 10 years, honey? It's only been 2. Wow. I feel so damaged. I feel so changed. But no, it's been a good little run. I'm having fun every week. I'm having fun. Sometimes before the lights come on, I'm like, not so much. And then the lights come on and showtime.
Ding, ding, ding.
What's my name? What's my name? What's my name? Hello.
Hi. Hello. Hi. Ladies and gentlemen, on radio, we have a special listener who wants to chime in. Go ahead, listener.
Who's it?
Nobody. I'm just saying, it's going to be so good and so dope just to say that.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey,
and sound effects.
Like, hey,
dream a little dream.
Yeah. Calm down, man. Calm down. Yeah. Please, where are you calling from?
Chill out.
This is Aunt Jemima from Georgia. Aunt Jemima, good. How long have you been listening to the show? I just started listening last week. Well, there you go. We really love when you do that. Thank you, Aunt Jemima from Georgia.
I was watching America's Got Talent yesterday.
Terry Crews.
Okay.
Anadoa.
Look, that's the only thing I do not like about the show. She's all right. She's a little over the top. But the other one, that's the dance chick.
Yeah. What's her name?
She started out so nice.
But
and then she got
you can tell.
But you know what, man? I cried a lot during that show, bro.
No way. The backstories got you?
No, not the stories, but just
the talent of the people, their chances get ripped.
Just like the kids from India.
Okay.
That Sun Dogs. Man, and then the blind autistic dude singing. Did you see that?
I didn't watch it.
Oh my God!
I can't watch them, man. I started to tear up.
So they have this whole crew of Indian kids that live in those cardboard metal villages. Oh, how sad, man.
Wait, say that, the cardboard metal villages?
Yeah, the roofs have the metal on them, but the walls are all like cardboard and shit.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like taped together, and it's pretty bad. And you see them, everybody's pretty much, it's poverty at its worst. And they're just so happy, man. I was so happy to be there, so happy to perform in front of everybody, man. And then they had a blind autistic kid come out there. And at first you're like, fuck, he's annoying, And then they tell you, well, he's blind and autistic, and he's going to sing. And you're like, oh, well, I'm sorry. Okay.
And then when he blows it up?
Then the dude started singing and could sing.
Wow.
Could sing. It's like that one, that person that stutters and stuff. And then as soon as they start singing,
Wow.
So just amazing, man. I sat there and fucking tearjerker, man.
Damn.
All night,
And that's how they get you.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yes.
And then before that, I watched the new Songwriter show. So it's a spinoff. Adam Levine is part of it.
Okay.
I think John Legend. John Legend was the guest star that they were writing songs for. They were auditioning. Songwriters were auditioning. He picked the top 3 and then finally picked the one that he was going to make, and he made. And they played a part of it on the show last night that he made. And pretty awesome to watch. The evolution of a song.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Yeah, coming from the songwriter to the potential song owner.
So is this like a competition?
And producers.
Okay.
And producers working with the So they got 3 producers sitting on the bench. The person comes out and sings the song that they wrote. And then John Legend, who was the star that they're writing for, he was going to take one of their songs, makes his little comments, and then the producers make their comments. Then John picks the top 3 that he wants to move on with. And those 3 team up with the producers. Okay. Each one goes off with the producer, and they tweak the song, taking John's notes, what he wants to see, and they completely, at some point, changed a couple of songs completely. But then they got to present the new rearranged song in the likes of, John, and then John picks the one that he wants to make. And then at the end of the show, of course, because this is recorded, they show the recording of the actual song that John made with that. So it's a songwriter's opportunity to have a megastar take one of their songs and make it big. And that could be the break that, kind of vaults them into fame. If that song wins an Oscar, an Emmy, whatever,
right.
They're the songwriter and they're huge.
I really like those concepts and everything, but I go back to like the first reality, quote unquote, reality TV show.
Real World?
Yeah, Jersey Shore.
Right. Wasn't Real World like
Real World
like the first one?
Was like the first one because you really didn't know what was going to happen.
Right.
You did not know that it was extra cuts, clips, and edits.
And it was the first time a camera was like, in there for everything.
Yeah.
So yeah. And so I started thinking about it last night, and I told Kathy, I said, what if they did a show like this with comics, kind of, like instead of writing a song, writing jokes, and kind of give you an idea of the behind the scenes on the premise, building a joke, going and trying it out on stage. I mean, it's kind of like what Seinfeld did when he did his comeback.
Yeah,
sort of with
that was good little.
What was that? Orange, whatever the fuck his name was. He was a spastic fuck anyway. But it kind of gave you the behind the scenes of somebody, even though it's Seinfeld, coming back and rewriting his whole act and trying it out and the whole way. But with him, it's a little different because he's already famous.
Right.
And this is more like in the likes of, writers finally getting a break and all that stuff, the behind the scenes people, background singers and all that. But would they ever admit, would like comics ever admit to buying jokes? Like having writers and buying jokes?
Some wouldn't.
Would they ever want to come out and actually say that on a show?
Right.
I mean, for songwriters, singers, like it kind of ruined it for me a little bit when I thought that John Legend like wrote all his own songs.
Oh,
but they don't.
Different.
They don't. None of them, I don't think, write all their own songs. I'm not going to say none of them, but I guess a large amount. So how many comics don't write their own jokes? I'm not talking about the ones that steal their jokes. I'm talking about the ones that use it, that pay somebody to write for them, and that use the jokes.
I mean, I hankered with the idea of having some write jokes for me or get some different premises because one, I don't write. I do the concept in my head. Right. I might do some bullet points, but I really don't write the whole joke out.
But how many big name comics do you think?
I don't know. There's that many big
have writers.
Oh man, they all
got to, right?
They got to. It's
like I don't think Dave Attell has anybody that writes for him ever.
I don't know.
But I think Kevin Hart has a writer.
He has a writer.
Because he acts like he's just doing a script up there.
Yep. Yeah, but he's not living it anymore. He's bigger than that now. Yeah. He's got writers.
So I don't know. I don't know. If anybody out there has an idea, a good guy to talk to about that would be like Robert Duchesne or Connor Kellicott. Those guys are really good writers. And I not going to say for sure, but I think Robert may write for somebody, but I'm not positive. But I mean, is it wrong for if you're like really good on stage, you have great delivery, great stage presence, but you're a shitty writer?
You can't write for beans.
Like how many actors are good writers? They're not required to be.
Not required to write.
Right.
Show up and
so then why if you're a comic and you're taking a funny writer's material that can't present his jokes himself, and you're presenting them, why are you not funny?
Yeah.
Because technically you're not funny. You're good at presenting jokes, but it's not your material, so technically you're not funny.
Yeah, no, that is an interesting aspect and an interesting point because most people, they can act, they can do the part, they do it in multiple takes. It's those that do it live theater,
right?
They get fewer takes.
But those are also scripts that are written.
I know, but those are performing live and to an audience that they're gonna get that feedback immediately. So those that do the multiple takes in movies and TV, those are edited, those are clipped out, and there's sound bites and.
So would I in the comedy world
would you
be considered a hack if they found out that somebody wrote my whole act, all my sets?
No.
And I went out there and did
killed it every day.
But then they find out that
somebody
wrote all my jokes.
I don't think.
Am I considered to be a hack?
No, and no. I honestly think that because you're bringing the comedy and the act and the characters out of the words.
So what is the funny? The deliverer or the writer?
It's still part of the performance. And again, live comedy, live performance, stand-up is an art that you're doing. You're changing those words and making them funny.
So if you got out there and just killed it, who gets the credit for it?
You did, because you gave it.
And the writer?
The writer can, you know what? Hey, I'm going to give all props and credit to my writer.
Do you say that on stage?
No. At the end of the day, nah. When you write your book deal, when you make your first movie, you go, I would've got this.
Yeah, but is everybody going to be like disappointed? Be like, the whole time it was a farce.
Well, okay, so I mean, Paul Mooney wrote a lot of stuff for Pryor. Paul Mooney was there in the production room for a lot of comics that had.
But it's stand up.
Yeah.
And so, did everybody know that?
Everybody knew.
Did it change how people felt about Pryor?
No.
Paul Mooney's dark.
Paul Mooney is dark. Paul Mooney
like literally. No. he has a dark sense of humor. He has definitely been touched in life the wrong way.
In the later parts, what's his name?
What's up, Ash?
I can't think of his name. Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory was kind of light and easygoing,
Yeah, no, but his comedy style,
right?
But he contributed and worked for a lot of people too.
But Dick Gregory was one of those. I don't want to say like black people that knew their role, but he
don't say it.
Huh?
Don't say it because it's not true. Because he became a little bit more militant.
Well, yeah, a little bit. But I'm saying
like whatever he wanted to say, and
he didn't stir it up a whole lot
until later on.
Right, but I'm saying like, he did his
he got in
roles.
where he fit in. Yeah,
right,
he got in where he fit in, and he still maintained that air about him, and so that's why you can say the late great.
Yeah, no, I'm not taking nothing from him. I'm just saying it seemed like in the old days, people were a little bit afraid to stir it up and give their opinions, and knew where their place in society was at that particular time, whether they liked it or not.
Right.
And they were very careful not to mess up what they wanted in life and how to get there. And maybe they were smarter than everybody else because they got there despite all the roadblocks and everything that was going on to keep them from making it, keep them out of Hollywood. And they still made it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty, when you think about it, that's pretty smart, man. Where you just hold your tongue and do your thing and not create waves and then kind of fly under the radar. Next thing you know, you're there and they got to accept you.
Yep. We love you so much.
Now, most people would say like, hey, you got to fight your way, claw your way in and get there no matter what. Well, apparently not.
Not really, yeah.
Apparently, maybe not making waves is the way to go. Whoa. What's that? Is that like a submarine diving? That's kind of weird. So at work they announced, the day job until we make it very big. I got to do the day job thing, and they announced that we're all, of course, they said that we're all getting a raise.
What?
But
always good news.
But here's the thing.
Yeah, there's a catch.
Yeah, when they took over, they changed the company. They started out with what they thought was a good idea.
Okay.
Like they thought that however they were going to pay everybody and everything was the right way.
Okay.
Well, few people voiced their opinion. They're no longer there. And then all of the heavy hitters just started disappearing one at a time, quitting.
What?
So I guess once that happens, it doesn't matter when the little guys quit. But when you start losing all your heavy hitters, then you start to think, hey, guys, let's huddle up. Maybe we're not doing it exactly right.
We need some.
And so then they made some changes, and I think they're good changes. I think it's back to where it's supposed to be.
Okay.
I don't know if I would necessarily call it a raise,
Okay.
but I think they've made the playing field a little more equal to the competition.
Huh.
And I think people are going to be less likely to greener pasture it, because nobody really likes to start all over again.
I wouldn't want to.
If you don't have to.
You don't have to.
Even if it's a couple dollars difference, but when it's a major difference, you're like, yeah, I think I'm going to try out something else. But so they've narrowed the gap, let's say.
So
So I think it's going to keep people around. I'm happy because what I need as far as compensation is back to where it should be. And so I'm good with that.
Okay.
I wasn't real crazy about the dip that I was encountering because of the system, the way they had it. But I'm happy with the changes that are made. Without saying too much.
Right. No, that's a fair assessment of the situation.
I don't want to.
I'm at this publishing company for about 6 years now, and I'm learning a lot more things about the publishing, and I want to get my books out. And once I do that, I'll need to go out and do more speaking engagements. I need to, get in the trail of marketing my books. And I said books because there are two, and I'm trying to talk about at the same time. But I oftentimes find myself becoming the voice or the expertise when other people are talking about, well, I need to get my book out, or this thing, that, and the other. And so just from what I've learned in such a short period of time, it's like, I know I'm not going to be able to go out there and open my own publishing company, but at the same time,
Do you even want that?
No, I wouldn't want to, not my own publishing.
No.
I just want to get my books out there. I want to go out there.
The bigger you get, the more problems.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't want, the headaches of having to cover a 9 to 5 for a staff of 20 to 60 people. No, I don't want that. But I'm just saying, when you get up to a certain level, your expectations to deliver become a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so then you're like, okay, well, what was the point? What was I really shooting for? Were those my goals? And now I'm working with everybody else's goals, and I either to be sustainable is I got to make sure that they're happy, or else they're going to peel off and they're going to do their own thing.
We always think that, like, we take a look at people that start their own businesses and stuff, and we always think that when we're working for someone else, that if it was our company or we were doing it, we'd do it a lot different. We'd be successful at it.
Yeah.
But you know what? We don't realize what all goes into it,
no.
And how keeping everybody happy and doing all the right shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. Say what's up to Mary Ann McCoy. What's going on?
Reno Zuniga.
There you go. Reno Zuniga. Hey, what's it called? Mark Curry.
Yeah,
That's one of one of the he went on that whole rant.
I like that story. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I told him about that, Reno. That was pretty funny. That was up in the Board Rock, or
The Board Rock.
yeah, up at the old Great Plate. Yeah, those are some good days there, man.
Way back.
We had some nice shows up there. Dat Fan, Mark Curry. I mean, it was some good times, man.
I was listening to an episode, and I think it was like our last at VPB and or VDP.
VPP?
Whatever. Vista.
Working with
Yeah, when we were there. And it was like our last show, and it was kind of right before we met Cassidy and
Cass the chick.
Yeah, Cassidy chick came on, but it was like he used to kill it, man. Hell yeah, he used to kill it. But yeah, Cassidy chick, and this was right about that time. But you had said we would have Dat Fan on the show,
right?
And a couple other names. And I was thinking this cat's just dropping names, but at the same time, I've only known you for a short bit anyway, so. It's like, okay, well, it's good to have those aspirations. It's great.
Oh no,
Dad, where the hell are you at?
Have you seen all the photos?
Oh, I've seen the folders. Yeah, I know what I'm saying. But at that particular point, I was like, I think it was on like episode 27 or something. You said, "Oh, I'm gonna have that fan." I was like,
he said he'll come on the show, but he has to prove
what.
Yeah,
is
like
said and what's
the camera, the sound, the lighting. I was like, oh god, it sounds like him.
So I watched was it Bobby Lee and some people doing this cross table poker talk thing.
Yeah.
And it was mildly entertaining, but at the same time,
the one that playing poker.
Yeah. I was kind of annoyed because of the camera angles and shots, and
right.
A lot of it seemed so staged anyway. But I like the concept because when we start talking and we go live and we shout out to whoever's talking like.
Oh, when we're out at the bar.
We're out at the bar and everything. It was it was great.
Yeah, it was great out there, dude. I want to do that again. It's just I want to do it the right way.
And
I want to have the camera, the lighting, the sound, and where we can go mobile. And then people can actually hear us. And, and the establishment actually wants to take part in it.
Yeah,
it's like I don't understand what it is with these bars. They sit there and they're like, oh, we want to be busier. We want to be this place is doing. And then when you do something with them and try and promote their place, try and bring business into their place, all they do is fucking fight you, and they don't want to participate. And it's weird. It's like, bro, this is your place still, and if we're busy, you're busy, and you make money.
Exactly.
I don't understand what the deal is. We had up there. So we're doing the theater, and then we're doing upstairs the Board Rock, and Reno was at a lot of those shows. And and actually Rich went up for one of those shows. We did it with the kid that was on White Boys in the Hood, Jason Andors. Fuck, he killed it. So we're up there and we're doing the theater across the street. And there's no food. There's really no drink or nothing there. So we had the pre-party at the Great Plate, which is right across the street.
Right.
Yeah, so everybody would go over there and eat and drink before the show. And then everybody would go to the show. And then we would literally have like 400 or 500 people at the Great Plate afterwards. And dude, they were so supportive,
and
happy. It was like the greatest turnout that they had, all year long. Oh, there we go. We're in it now. Wow, we're graced with.
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
We are graced with the honor and privilege of having the one, the only Connor Kelly Cut, Bay Area. I think he's close to being a Bay Area Hall of Famer. Oh yeah, he is definitely up there. One of the funniest cats I know. He every show that we have done together throughout the years has been great. It doesn't matter if we were doing a fucking toilet. The guy came, he brought it, held the attention of the crowd. Sorry. We go to do bar shows, and everybody knows bar shows are notorious for being fucking battle pay, hard to get the crowd to pay attention. This guy would have like fucking pin drop, and catch their attention. He was super funny. I've heard his jokes a gazillion times and still had me rolling. Him, Larry Bubbles Brown, some of my all-time favorites. We got a couple stories from out in Tracy, but we're definitely not going to tell them. But great times. He always came through in the clutch. Up at the Stockton Arena, killed it. Just great. The only I guess what do you call it? Strife or grief between the two of us is that he always had this deep down desire to fuck my wife, which I probably would have shared if he would have asked politely. But he never came out and said it like, hey, do you mind if I, take a little loaner, take a little test drive, whatever? Who knows? But
the first wife, the first one?
No, Kathy.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Kathy used to go to all the shows. She was the door chick.
I need a door chick.
She was the hot little Asian chick at the door. Yeah,
I need a door chick.
Yeah. So she, him and the dude that, oh my God, tell me I can't remember his name. Frank Caliendo.
Okay.
So we're at the Punchline in San Francisco. Frank would come into town, and this was before Frank, like huge. He was doing the voices. He was doing Madden, so everybody knew who he was. But that dude would be like, "Hey, can you guys come and pick me up at the airport, San Francisco? Oh, make sure to bring your wife." I'm like, "What the fuck does she have to do with anything? I'll pick you up at the airport, but what does she have to do with anything?" That was another fucker that I was trying to, yeah. And then JV, who was on 94.9, Wild 94.9, the top rated Bay Area morning show. Yeah. And he was on there every morning with the Doghouse. And so I used to go and hang out with the Doghouse. I sold a couple of them cars back when I was at the dealership. Yeah. And so I used to hang out with them on the weekends, and we got like total VIP treatment. Nice. And so he's with Natasha Yee, which is a, supermodel, Korean chick. Oh, yeah. And so we're at a club in San Francisco. And we walk in, we come in the back door, there's a line in the front. We come in the back door through the bottom, up the stairs, and they tell the people who are sitting in this booth, clear out. And so they all clear out, we sit down. And actually, no, we're at the Punchline watching Frank Caliendo. JV was there, and he's with Natasha and a couple other people. And so JV looks over at me and Kathy, and he's like, "So, you guys are friends?" And we're like, "Yeah." At the time, we were friends. And he says, "Are you like a couple? Or are you just fucking? What's going on?" Yeah. So that was like our first real introduction, as a couple to him. So that was kind of interesting.
Dino Cameron, what's up, buddy? We're not getting plugged in like we want to, but this is just good table talk with the boys, me and Rick, Silas, Pelon and Chubby. We do this each week. Yeah,
we're here. This is Pelon and Chubby show every Wednesday, 8:30. We're gonna call it. We try and get on by 8, but
we used to be 7 o'clock.
Yeah, but the whole day job thing.
Yeah, it's great.
So 8:30 is a more realistic time. Plus, it's that's. When they do shows that have a little marginal content or language or whatever, it's always like 9 o'clock and on. Yeah. So, the kiddos are in bed. I hate that fucking kiddos thing that they say. Yeah. I'm going to use it anyway. So, 9 o'clock-ish is more the hour for our kind of entertainment. So it actually works out all right. So 8:30, join us every Wednesday. Tell your friends to tune in. This is just the behind-the-scenes recording of the actual Pelon and Chubby podcast, which you can catch on just about every platform. I didn't know we were on iHeartRadio.
Whoa.
We are.
Really?
Yeah, I went on iHeartRadio. I searched Pelon and Chubby, and all our shit pulled up.
Huh.
Yeah. So we're on Spotify, Apple iTunes.
See, iHeartRadio. That they've got the most podcasts, but I guess if they're just taking everybody's RSS, right. I'm going to block them motherfuckers. I want my money.
We are on our iHeartRadio. Pretty much every platform there is. So all you got to do is go into your browser, type in Pelon and Chubby, and somehow we got, at first I wasn't excited about the name, but then now it's worked out to where we're the only ones even remotely close with anything content with that name.
There's a Chubby Therapy.
But there's no Pelon and Chubby.
But no Pelon and Chubby.
So when you type it into your browser, we're the only game.
We're the game.
So it's nice.
Hey,
you can catch us. There's 82 episodes on there.
Speaking of games.
All good.
All great.
Some just better than others.
Yeah. Number 27, my all-time.
What is that one?
That one was the last one at Vista Village Pub.
Refresh my recollection. Was that the little Asian chick that was there?
That was Asian Eye and Cass the chick. And the touch of the eyeball. That's all it took, man. That's all it took.
Touch of the eyeball. Cool.
Yeah.
So Connor, type in something. What's going on? Give a little, dude. You're always more than welcome to call in to the show. We will absolutely put you on immediately. If you're ever down in this neighborhood, we got some shows you can come out and do. There's some rooms that we can get you in for sure. And then obviously you can come on the show and come and hang out. Adam Richmond came on the show. We had a blast with him.
He's hilarious. Always on.
Yeah. So we've had some fun. We're always looking to do bigger and better things, obviously. So this is usually the part, we're not really going to go into what we've done out through the week.
No, it was a short week. We had Memorial Day,
Yeah.
so most people didn't work. And then all of a sudden sneak up, it's trash day and it's hump day already. So it's like,
Right.
and I'm off tomorrow. So it's like, wow.
Wow. So where did the week go? I got to get another beer. Talk to them about
what's going on.
we're gonna,
Things coming up, it's just so fast. I've got some shows coming up. I got the San Diego.
I got invited to Battle of the Sexes.
The Battle of the Sexes is right to get started again. I'm ramping that up again.
At Rookies?
No, Battle of the Sexes is going to be.
I got an invite to Rookies.
That was something else, though.
Oh.
Yeah, so we got shows. I've got shows. Bigger things are developing with the San Diego Comedy League. I've been hosting. I've been finding locations and sites. For the most part, the breweries in North County is super rich with breweries. I've got Iron Fist. I've got Indian Joe's with another group starting up. But the San Diego Comedy League, which has been amazing response to it, and is coming back with a lot more new comics to the San Diego scene. You're more than welcome to sign up. If you want more information about that, go to San Diego Comedy League at gmail.com. Send more info, request more info, and maybe just sign up so you can get into our rotation. It's a comedy competition that lasts like a whole football season or baseball season. And we just kicked off. Now we're doing our second shows at each of the venues right now. With hopes of growing into other spots. I've picked up some sponsors who are going to pay for jerseys and promo gear. It's starting to barrel forward, and we're not making it where the comics are not.
Did I hear you got some sponsors?
Some sponsors are coming in for the San Diego Comedy League. They're buying into the idea, so we got people buying uniforms and jerseys for us right now. I've got to get my ass cranking on promo, video, and stuff like that, so I can sell and package and ticket blasts. But most of the locations are at tasting rooms, bars, and the breweries. The breweries have been responding really quite well, and are sharing in on the season and the locations. Yeah. And I wanted to do a regular pop-up show with Pelon and Chubby, and Iron Fist is still open and privy to that. They just, because they rotate with local bands and stuff like that. Yeah. They do support live comedy, live performances. So we need to put something together and get a pop up going.
Yeah, we can do this show on
and
remote.
We can do that. I told her we should do like a podcast and devote it to the microbrews. And Iron Fist has grown. They've grown their operation. They actually can at that Vista location, right. And they
yeah, we'll interview everybody.
Yeah, and so we're not short on venues as far as breweries or the little microbrews, and if it works, we'll fit in, and they'll get outside trucks or food trucks or whatever like that, and just build a pop up show and do a repeat series and everything. So that's why the success of this time in the San Diego Comedy League here in North County has been well received, is because we get in, set up, do a show, break down, and get out. And they do record sales while we're there. We do, have a food truck or we have some sort of food vendor. And so just a whole package deal. And the show's response has been amazing. So now we're just getting to a point where there's some sponsors coming on and plugging in some money and paying for jerseys. And we're going to have a card deck for the comics. And just some things, it's building. And then myself, I'm producing shows. Got a Spanish one on June 7th. Got some very good comics coming up from LA, Mexico, and that's all Spanish. Pelon and Chubby. The Chubby is the bilingual here, and so I've got that one going. And then we also have a salsa band on that night. What's up, Jeff Bobby Gringo? So the Battle of the Sexes, though.
Right.
That's one of my marketing ventures, but that's my other comedy shows where it's equal, even set. 3 women, 3 guys, or 4 women, 4 guys, or I'll take even audience participation. With sets questions. It's more going to be like a game show. If I get on a regular series with something, it's going to, I mean, I'm getting an app built for it. So it's just a whole lot more. I mean, I go back and I mean, I've got all my shows that I've done. I got the videos. So I finished the videos and those are going to be posted on Amazon. They'll be available on Amazon, and then we're going to backload the website once we build the website back up. And so we'll have an app where you can vote, judge, and interact with the content that's in the app. And a lot more things that are going on with that. It's just, I've just been sleeping on it because I hadn't had the pusher to move or a little moolah to get it going. But it's not that bad because I got all those shows. I got the video and I got the model releases, so I can do whatever I want with it. It was my video. So
here's my my take on it, which I have been known to be rather harsh on the San Diego comedy scene and the comics. As Connor knows, the comedy scene in San Francisco is pretty outstanding, and so I have been typically a little harsh. With that being said, I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't ever worry about hurting anybody's feelings. Maybe I should a little more, but I don't. And I went to a couple of guys' shows, the Comedy League, and was entertained. The crowd was decent. Me, obviously, I'm a fucking sound and lighting, what do you call it? Like stickler and like, even though it's not my show, no matter what show I go to, any show, anywhere, whether I even know the people that are doing the show, I have to say something if something's not right. And so I catch myself, like, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but fuck, please just tweak this a little bit or this a little bit, and it'll sound so much better, or the light will be so much better, or whatever, And it just comes from, honestly, it's not trying to step. I don't want any credit for nothing, but I've been doing shows for so long that I know what looks good, I know what sounds good, and I know how to make something out of nothing. And you guys have actually been able to accomplish that, and it's a tough task.
it is a tough
How
task.
to make a good-looking show that doesn't look fucking cheesy or hacky, and make put together a decent show with a very, very, if any, budget.
Right.
Very tough to do. It's just, a lot of the equipment and people that you've met throughout the years just kind of band together, put things together and make it work somehow, some way, and just take nothing, a piece of concrete, and turn it into a show. Which is, people don't realize what it takes to do that and what a talent it takes to do that. But to be able to transform nothing into something without cash is a very tough thing to do. And you guys have been able to accomplish that. And it's something I think that has a ton of potential, a ton of upside. And with a little cash will make it even better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
no.
When
I asked him, was he, and he was like, I was thinking around and getting an idea. And Benji Garcia, I know you've been doing this since 2012. I looked back and I saw some of your flyers, and I'm like, you've been doing this for a while, and
even longer than that.
As far as the Comedy League concept.
Oh, who, Benji?
Yeah. As far as the Comedy League concept, no.
I thought you were talking about my stuff.
No,
yeah.
You've been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
And I mean, it does take time, but then you just got to retool.
Right.
And this is probably like the pinnacle for him and his Comedy League's idea, and just package it right and just get it working. It's just retool it.
You know what? It's never like a judgmental thing, but you can tell how long somebody has been producing shows or putting together shows when you look at the flyers and you go to the show. And the advertising and shit and who they have on the show. You can tell just by that how long they've been doing it.
Or if they even care about it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, most people are just going to learn naturally over time.
Yeah, no, I care. That's why, like my comedy dance party, I like to see a good show myself. I'm gonna sit back at the end of the night. You know, if I barely make any money, but I want to see a good show. I'm not just gonna throw a bunch of grease monkeys together and expect them to make a car. You know what I'm saying? They have all the ideas and the tools to make a car, but if I just throw them together, they're not going to make a car. It's not going to run. But so, I mean, from top to bottom on this comedy dance party, I've selected some very good people. Some of them I haven't worked with, but I've taken one suggestion and I've tooled it. I was like, you know what, that'll work.
Sometimes you got to take the opinion of somebody you trust.
And then skip it. You know, and skip. Like throwing rocks on the river. Let's see if this one bounces. So this is my actual fourth comedy dance party. I did my very first one at Rookies with the help of Rich to Stitch, Duke Michaels, and P-Man that came up. And I was amazed. I was like, okay, yeah, this is a concept. I can DJ, maybe have some live musicians or get some kids out there to do some raps or whatever. Some live music and then more comedy and then open up for the dance. And so people are more entertained. And I'm not the greatest host, but I'm a good performer and I'm engaging. And I'll get you to the next comic in a very good fashion. But when I do my comedy dance party, I mean, because I'm going to sit back, I'm going to set them up and then let them get their moment to shine. That's the best part. That's what I really like.
You know, with the exception of maybe one or two of the shows at Rookies, and I wouldn't even consider those really good shows. I haven't had a real good show since I moved down here, as far as producing, putting together a good show. Not to my standards, you know, but the show with Tommy Savitt and Adam Richmond at Rookies was close, but the setup still wasn't like I would want. The sound wasn't like I would want. I was talked out of doing the lighting that I wanted. I've always done a follow spot, and I like it. There's a lot of comics that need that. It draws attention to the stage. It somehow quiets the crowd a little bit. But, you know, nevertheless, it's my show, but I haven't had a show like some of the ones that we had up there. And that's what, if I'm going to get back to doing any kind of shows, that's how I want it to be. I mean, some of these guys will tell you that Stockton Arena, the Corona comedy series, dude, when you walked in there, you were like, fuck, man, this is, dude, TVs, Corona bottles, you know, massive stage. I mean, it was like something fucking going down here, you know? And we had the support. I haven't had the connections and the support down here, kind of like I had up there, you know, and access to marketing, radio stations, you know, sponsors, all that kind of shit, like I had up there. And so, I mean, one day, who knows? Maybe we'll get to that here, but there's no reason why we can't produce a good, professional, quality show, you know, at a venue. You know, there's no reason we should be able to do that. Maybe the show, when it takes off, will catapult us and allow us to, you know, go to that next level, you know, and be able to attract the right people to produce the shows with, that will put out, like I like to say, you know, TV quality, Hollywood quality, Vegas quality shows. And that's really what I'm after, man. Because I love doing it. But the one thing that I hate more than I love is not doing a show proper. And I would rather not do a show than do a shitty show. So that's kind of been my thing, why I've been, you know, maybe sticking to just doing our show here is, you know, it's not an embarrassment thing. It's just not doing a show to the quality of what I am used to or what I want. And just going out there and doing just kind of piecing together a half-ass show. And I just don't want to do that. I just can't. You know? And I got nothing against those guys that are just trying to get out there and put something up and getting a little stage time. I mean, that's all part of the game, you know?
Yeah, no, that's
You know,
really
but
part
their
of the game.
focus is getting stage time and getting better as a comic. They're not trying to perfect their ability to produce a show that's a money maker and entertaining, you know? So it's crazy, man. I'll never forget that night when that fan did the Stockton Arena and I'm running down the street all fucked up with the backpack full of cash because they didn't have anybody there to pay me with a check. So they took all the vendor money from the bar and from the door or whatever and shoved it in my backpack and said, "Here you go." So I'm running down the street with like $8,000 to $10,000 cash in my pocket.
Wow.
So somebody knock on the door?
It just might be. I can't.
So that was kind of,
I'd love to get to that point. That's good.
well, it was pretty funny. So he asked me to pay him.
Yeah.
And so I told him, "All right, come on, let's go." We got in the back room. I opened my backpack.
Open up the backpack to
Holy
pay him.
shit.
Yeah. No, that's a good problem to have. Besides finding, producing or finding promoters, guys that can really talk shop about your show and get the money, so you don't have to worry about the ticket sales, the door, what's coming in, because if you have sponsors paying for it, then everything else is that ticket sales or percentage of beverage and food is always a consideration. So with these bar shows and the pop-ups, it's always great to have a partnership. It's just not that often that you get that partnership. Or if they're putting on comedy nights on a regular, they're expecting it to be a draw for them and actually to generate sales while people are there. And so they want this to be like their karaoke night, or they want it to be like their trivia night. And comedy is usually not that tool. And that's why they don't spend as much time investing in it and promoting it. And that's why a lot of venues actually suffer when they're thinking they're going to throw comedy in there to save the night. That would be nice, but it's a formula that doesn't work all the time. We're going to take a break for a second. If you guys have any questions, or if you want to send in a call or a Yelp or a tweet to Pelon and Chubby, our phone number, 760-565-3713, 760-565-3713. We take chat, we take SMS messages, and you can call into the show so we can get you live on the air with your question or with your comments. This is a show about nothing. We don't really have a topic, and we just want to get together and have some fun. And that's what we do whenever we reel in and reel out each week.
Are we on the topic thing?
No, we didn't even get there. I mean, it's been open. I mean,
So I think tomorrow, is it? Tomorrow, what's today, Wednesday? Tomorrow, Thursday, the NBA Finals begin.
I'm giving it.
Is it?
Yeah, I think. In 4, it's going to be a sweep, just a sweep.
So yeah,
Golden State in 4.
everybody's giving so much credit to Kawhi Leonard. I just find him to be a player that just comes out when it's convenient.
Well, he's going to need a lot of convenience.
Yeah. And then Marc Gasol, he's going to be a tough matchup, but I think as terrible as Bogut may be, I think he can match up with him. I think you just got to put a big man in his face and you'll take care of that. It's just too much firepower. And then obviously the question of Durant comes up. Are they a better team without Durant? We kind of touched on it last week. And my thing is, what wins championships? What matters? What team ball matters, I think. And the Warriors as a whole play better, gel better together without him. He brings a little more of an element of look at me sometimes and requires the ball a lot. Which is interesting because the other two guys that played with him in OKC,
Right.
Westbrook and Harden, are both the same style, same play. Is that maybe why OKC was unable to deliver the goods? You know, that you have three-headed monster that all want to run their own show.
Yeah.
And so they eventually all left to do that. And here's the problem is the Warriors were good before Durant got there, winning championships before Durant got there. And he wanted to be a part of that. But now that he has a desire to take it over and make it his, that's a problem.
Big problem.
That's a problem because that's not the style of basketball. That one-on-one isolation game that he's trying to develop is not what the Warriors play. So as much as I was a supporter of him initially, I'm kind of now maybe a little behind moving him.
Gotta go.
Letting him go. And we'll see how this plays out. You know, I have a feeling if I was a coach of the Warriors, I may sit him out the first game just to see how they do. And then if they need him in the other games, I would tell you this. If I am Durant, I am going to find every way possible to play because you have nothing to gain by not playing. If they win without you, then you look like shit. If they don't win and you don't play, then, you know, whatever, you may be able to say it's because you weren't there. I don't know. I just don't like your options there. I think you lose stock either way you play it. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a tough spot, man. But I'm thinking if I'm the GM of the Warriors, I'm looking at dollars paid out to return. Do I need to pay out that kind of money in order for us to win a championship every year? And if I have to be honest with myself, what's the owner's, the GM's name? Bob? Yeah. If I have to be honest with myself, Bob, I got to say that I don't think what we're paying out for him is necessary. I think maybe you can pick up 2 or 3 other very solid players for the same amount of money that you're paying him and upgrade the whole unit, you know, as far as the role players, the bench players. You know, maybe get a big man. If Cousins can stay happy, you can roll with him. But, you know, I just don't know that you have to pay out that kind of money.
So do you think it's going to be Warriors in 4? That's all I'm asking.
No. I'm going to say because of a lot of reasons. Playing in Toronto took 2 games from the Warriors in the regular season. I don't care who played, who didn't play, but they did. I think the Warriors in 6.
Okay.
I think Toronto's probably going to get 2 games. I think they'll get 2 games, but I think the Warriors are going to be too much for them. The only thing I don't like is that all the press and everything. I don't know if you remember in the last series, they're playing when they were playing Houston. Who was the last series?
Oh, Warriors and
Trailblazers.
Portland.
Right. Well, they were saying that Portland was going to beat them when they went up to Portland, and then they said Houston when Durant wasn't playing, Houston was going to beat them severely, and that didn't happen.
No, did not happen.
Right. So the more they talk about the Warriors getting beat, the less likelihood they have of getting beat. But nobody's talking about them getting beat, so I'm worried. So it kind of works that way.
It's a little psych.
Yeah.
Psych.
So we'll see. It starts tomorrow. It should be entertaining. Go Warriors. How long have we been on?
An hour and 90.
About an hour ago?
Yep.
That's what it says right there.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep.
We went on about 8:30.
Oh yeah. So we have a watch party going. I want to thank David Douglas and Kimberly Johnson and all for stopping in, dropping and joining and sharing the watch party. And as usual, Jeff Puppy Gringo and
And we lost eyes. We had quite a few more.
We're 9. I was like, wow. 9 eyes. That's impressive.
Yeah.
And I wasn't one of them at that time. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So 8 likes, 9 eyes, and 3 still hanging out with us. Want to thank you again for stopping in.
Yeah.
Good gravy. Where does the time go when we do this?
I think we might be done now.
That's some hair. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm almost out of beer. Anyway.
One of our episodes where you had your little cooler all packed and
Yeah, I'm gonna
going on an adventure or something.
Well, I think I'm gonna get back to that, man. I was thinking the other day, like they got these coolers or whatever.
If you what? You're still smoking hot, babe?
Oh gosh! All right, so thanks, Janet. Tracy. Yeah. So they. Oh God! So they.
Way to go, Janet!
They have that cooler thing or the heater that you can heat up hot water for tea.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, look, I should be able to get one of those that keeps my beer cold.
Yeah, a little circulator, make a little convector. So, as long as you don't come in here with the beer koozie with the.
No. I'm classier than that. But what if they had like a percolator, but a cooler?
Kool-Aid, yeah.
So I can just hit the thing and like. Yeah.
Cool it off.
I don't know why I don't just bring the kegerator in here.
Back in here, it wasn't the noise thing. It wasn't.
And then put it right here, right next to me.
Oh, I guess
so all I gotta do is reach over and
Yeah.
What am I doing?
I don't know. Get some of that sponsored chub so we can get Pelon's his own tap.
Yeah, I'm gonna just. You know what? For the next show, I'm just gonna bring it right in here, put it up next to the right next to me, so I can just fill up. I think that'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Be chill.
Yeah. So things to look out for. We're gonna be taping. We'll be up in the LA area. Maybe we'll do a little pop-up show up there. In the old hometown or some shit.
That would be good. I mean,
we're gonna be off for the day anyway.
When's that?
I don't know.
Okay.
When we do the taping for America Says.
Yeah, when we do that.
Maybe we'll stop in like Redondo or something, do a quick little pop-up at one of the local bars.
That'd be cool.
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, we can plan that.
Yeah, we'll tie that in because I think the taping is. I know what's going to happen. There's going to be a whole lot of sitting around and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then lunch is going to come and then waiting and waiting and waiting.
Yeah. Because I remember when I went to go do Let's Make a Deal. That was actually we got on 2 shows when we only went up to do 1.
Right.
But Risa was very, very persuasive in getting us in and almost got us on a 3rd show. But we had to go through these contestant pools, and she had us push through the first pool. It was pretty cool, and because she used her influence.
Did you guys ever get talked to?
I got stood up by Wayne, and I also did a dance challenge off stage. So I had but had I won or answered the question, then I wouldn't be able to be on a show for 7 years. Even $100 if I would have answered a question and won $100, even if it was off show.
Well, what are your odds of going up there and being on the show in the next 7 years anyway?
It depends. I mean, if I get on and get progressed or anything, even if I answered that would have barred me from taken as a winning on a show. So then they usually don't do cross shows. Like you won't see a guy on 1 versus 100, and then next week he's on Jeopardy.
Right.
They space them out. Now, when you see somebody on America's Got Talent, but then next season they're on X Factor or on.
They did have that.
They had that, and that was a conflict of contract. And then people usually say, now. So that's kind of what we're signing up and getting a part of there. So if we go far into it, that'll be great.
So either we win the $15,000 or we don't even get picked.
We top or nothing.
Right.
Top or nothing. So let's shoot for the high road, baby. Leave the hand hung until you stroke that 3, baby. Stroke that 3 like we do always. Pelon and Chubby every week.
Every Wednesday. Let's just do the new time, 8:30. We'll shoot for 8. Let's say 8. But it's so then at 8, but no later than 8:30.
Right.
So tell your friends to tune in the Pelon and Chubby Show every Wednesday, you can catch every episode, 82 of them. If you go online, type in Pelon and Chubby into your browser, and you can listen to just about everyone. You can go on our pages and see some old shows also.
Yes.
But the best way is to listen to the professional podcast on the platform of your choice. We prefer Podbean, but you can go on to anyone you like and check it out. And tell us maybe on the next show which one of your episodes was your favorite.
What'd you kick and laugh about?
Yeah.
What'd you fall out of the chair on? This is what we do. And why we do it is because of you.
Yeah, we want you to tell your friends to tune in to the Pelon and Chubby Show. Spread this show across the world. And one day we will be the sweethearts of America.
Sweethearts.
Oh, yeah, it'll never happen, but it's, whatever fucking thing. So that is what is in our nuggets for this week. And then next week will be completely different. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. You never know what you're going to get.
Don't do that analogy. We'll do it. Hey, we're doing good.
We got our own shit. We don't need nobody else's.
All right.
So thank you for tuning in again, Facebook Live, and then tune in for the podcast when Chubby has it up and ready to go online. Until we see you again, see ya.
Good night, everybody.